morning. Welcome to Making Stuff with Chris Dayhut. It has been quite a while since I filmed a story. The series that, if you were following along with, was the Making Printed Circuit Board series that I had filmed in advance, so it was just playing out over the course of the last 3 months about. So some of you are hopefully checking in to see where I'm at with the channel and what's coming up in the near future. Now, part of the reason why I had this long lag time here, I had retired in January from my full-time job. But with that also came the requirement for me to get caught up on a lot of the household problems that I've been ignoring for the last 5 to 10 years. So the last 3 months I've been extremely busy dealing with a lot of outdoor projects, primarily a shed that had to be torn down, rebuilt, and then all the grading redone by hand shovel around that area of the yard to facilitate drainage and so forth. But that's all done now, thank goodness, because frankly, every muscle that I haven't used in my body during the last 30 years was letting me know you haven't been using that muscle. So it's been rough. So at this point, I'm coming back to the YouTube channel, trying to get production going again. But there's an awful lot I need to get a handle on. And for those of you that have been following me for quite a while, the Zoomtown experiment, which has been literally about 1.25 year long series, deals with the little robots in this area of the shop. And over here you can see one of the little Zoomtown or Zoomy bodies with his silly little smiley face smiling at me. But that project is really stalled right now. It was 3 months ago, and it still is. Now, I will be putting time in on it to try to understand what is going on with the encoders and the motors and perhaps the software, the code that I wrote, why I can't get consistent data and readings as far as how far the robot travels. Without that, the project is doomed. Luckily, along the way, several viewers have emailed me in the past months with some suggestions and ideas, and I'm going to reevaluate a lot of that to try to get to the bottom of the issue. So Zoomtown isn't dead. It's just on hold, so to speak, as far as videos go. Will be working on it, but it's not a dead project. I would love to see it be carried out to the end. During the last several months, while pretending to be a construction worker, in my background mind, I was giving a lot of thought about what to do with the channel. Views have been dropping dramatically since, literally a 1.5 years ago. It's just been on a downward slide. Some of my mainstay videos, the ones that generate the most revenue in views, have even been tapering off. So it kind of tells me the channel is becoming stale, so to speak. The new content that I've been focusing on, which has primarily been the Zoomtown experiment and the new Making Printed Circuit Boards mini-series, haven't been interesting, and they're not drawing in a lot of new viewers. And of course, everybody's got their own unique interests. Following along with a year-long project like the Zoomtown experiment, that takes a heck of a commitment, so I understand why a lot of people didn't join on. I was very disappointed in the circuit board video series because I had done a test on that a few months prior, and it actually got a good reception. So I can't quite figure that out yet, but I'm sure there are reasons why I'm not gaining audience and why I'm losing views. And frankly, right now, if any of you have suggestions on how I can make the channel better, let me know. I do have a couple of viewers who have alerted me to a problem with the audio. And they've said that when I say the letter S, it's coming through with loudness and static through the audio system. And I use several different systems, so I can't figure out which one's causing the problem. My hearing is so bad from working in machine shops for the very large majority of my adult life, shooting guns. I was a competitive shooter, drag racing. I still go to the drag races. When I was drag racing, I sure didn't have earmuffs in. Pretty much everything I've done in life has damaged my ears to the point where I know I can barely hear anymore. So I could be making all kinds of S noises, real staticky, but never be able to detect it when I'm doing either the recording or the feedback audio or even in editing. So if you've got things that you can point out, I would greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I can do some testing and we can go back and forth. So if you can hear it, maybe I can try a test, have you watch a video and say, yeah, you fixed it, Chris. That would be awesome. But I also have to really give consideration to content. Now, the Pico series has been very enjoyable for me, and it's actually had a really good reception in that market. Even though I'm probably one of the more mature presenters dealing with Pico, especially in that Raspberry Pi arena, there's an awful lot of very young people involved in that, having fun with it. And what I noticed in my audience is they're mostly mature people, which are great. I can relate with them very well, too. So that could be a drawback. Of course, making circuit boards is pretty unique, and it requires you to have certain capabilities. So I can understand that as well. But all of this makes me want to look at it from a perspective of, I need to do something. I don't know what it is. I really enjoy doing the process of sharing knowledge and experiences. I do need the channel to at least pay for itself, and some of the projects and so forth can be astoundingly expensive. The Zoomtown experiment is very expensive to produce and has been, as have been many of the other project-related videos. So I can't lose money at it. I'm retired and on a fixed income these days. So all of this is playing in my mind. Now, I have so many interests, it's not even funny. I could do radio-controlled airplanes, radio-controlled cars. I could do metalworking. I could do welding. I could do woodworking again. That one's probably the hardest for me to do because of the respiratory issues with wood dust. I could do competitive shooting and teach that again. There's a lot that I'm interested in, and I am willing to share all of it, or any of it. So I need to experiment and find an audience that's large enough and shares my interests so that the channel can grow and become stable enough financially to help support it. I had mentioned a few months back about me wanting to try to do a MicroPython Introduction to Programming series. And another one that's kind of really piquing my interest more so is about tools. Every maker out there and everybody out there uses tools every day of their lives. And there's a lot of them that people don't know about. There's a lot of them that are really bizarre and fun and cool. Some are just so stone simple you go, really, that's a tool? Well, it solves a problem. And I, of course, have a lot of tools because I have a lot of hobbies and interests. And I have done so much in my years here on the planet. So that one's getting to be moved to a very high priority in what I want to do. Now, That doesn't mean I'm abandoning Zoomtown or abandoning Pico or abandoning the programming for MicroPython. I think my path forward, and I would love to hear feedback from you folks, I think my path forward would be to just start doing some of the tool videos and just have fun with it. I don't want it to be a full-on review thing. I'm not a real fan of doing reviews. Often it's opinions based on a perspective of the presenter. And that really doesn't tell a true story in many cases, especially a lot of the more complicated tools that may have multi-functions to them. In other words, a tool would really be bad for me because I have another tool that does something more effectively for the application I'm talking about, and 10 other things because I've used it in that. But those don't apply to everybody. So reviews are tricky business, and besides that, I don't want to lose credibility if people start sending in tools, and I'm becoming the barker, trying to sell them and so forth. But I do like talking about tools. I utilize a tremendous amount of them. In fact, I sat down for a half hour a few months back and just typed up all the different tools that just popped into my head that I thought were interesting. And I think I'm well over 150 tools. So, and that's just on the more typical tool categories, what I would use in electronics or in woodworking or in construction or model building, all these different things that I do. Those are tools that just popped into there, forgetting about photography, videography, video editing, all these other things. Even one that ended up becoming a tool was audio recording. Now, as I mentioned, I can't hear very well, but I can record audio and audio sounds of various things and then analyze that sound to understand more about a mechanism. And I went through a great experience a year ago solving a problem in my professional career on a CNC machine tool and a very unique cutting application. And analyzing the audio I recorded from that brought to light so many underlying problems. It got us from having no idea what the cause of the problem was to being able to narrow it down to two specific causes with clear evidence before and after of that improvement from that effort. So tools come in very unique varieties across everything. My whole point of all this rambling is I need to do something different. I still want to do what I'm doing content-wise, but I can only do it if I can justify it. And I really want to stay with the Pico series, and I need to figure out a way to make that more interesting to a broader audience. Hopefully that makes sense for you. And the Zoomtown experiment fits in that. The MicroPython programming fits in that. And then all my other videos I've done on the Pico series fits into that same umbrella, where it's just fun to do those things on this little $4 microcontroller. I also love the Raspberry Pis, and I haven't been playing in them much for the last few years, and I would like to revisit that. So just to get you updated, that's what all this is about. There isn't a specific formula going forward, so if you see me jump around a little bit, stick around. Don't go running off. It might be just a couple of test videos to see if there's an audience or not. And if there is, I'll explore it. If not, I'll abandon it and stick to my core videos that you folks have been watching for how many ever years I've been doing this? 5 years, maybe-ish? I don't know. But anyhow, thank you all for sticking around, sticking with me on this really fun adventure and challenge. to myself, and hopefully you stick around and we have a little more fun sharing wisdom with each other. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you along my journey wherever it's going in the coming year.